Star, our official newspapers, and posted on the bulletin board of the municipal building. Take roll call. Councilman Donovan? Here. Councilman McKinney? Here. Mayor Buckafusco?
Here.
Councilman Rondero? Here. Councilor Levis?
Here. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for our troops, their families, and first responders. Thank you. Okay, I believe tonight we're starting our workshop with the presentation of the Belmar Historical Society signs. So I'm going to turn it over to the Historical Society.
Okay. Prime Governor, you don't have to tell you where I live or anything like that, do I? Okay.
As long as I live in Belmar.
The plan tonight is to unveil the 7 new historical signs that were for 2025 that we're going to be putting up on the boardwalk. We want you people to be the first to see them. One of the reasons we put these along the boardwalk is to perhaps get someone that used to live in Belmar and say, hey, I got an old photo up in my attic or something, and might bring it down to us and we could use it. Picture's worth 1,000 words, so to speak. At this time, I want to thank Karen Hewlett, especially for a selection of the 7 new signs, and President of the Historical Society, Spence Hewlett. What I want to do is go to each sign, kind of give you a little bit of what that sign is telling us. This first sign over here.
But now let's come down to see it.
Oh, sure. You know, we put up 9 signs last year. The program was so successfully received, positively received, that we said we got to do more. And and not a single sign was vandalized or any damaged in any way, shape, or form. The sign over here is a beach scene, early 1900s. You can see the bathing suits. You know, at high tide, it would have been difficult to rescue somebody with all that clothing on. And notice they have ropes. They have poles with flags on top of them. So really, I can't ever, that's what's valuable about these signs, is I've been in town a long time. I've never seen anything like this. Over here, everybody here probably recognizes this pole. Okay, it's on the corner of 8th Avenue and Ocean. It may, or may not, be this right here of the Malta. Because when they salvaged the Malta, we understand that it's very possibly the mast was brought into Perth Amboy. And that we were contacted by the serial number on it of what pole, what mast belonged to the Malta. Whatever, they placed it on the corner of 8th Avenue and Ocean. Right here is the second movie theater in Belmar. Everyone that was a Belmartian remembers the Rivoli up on Main Street. This was a summertime movie theater called the Rialto. I spent a lot of quarters, no, not then, it was nickels, in the arcade that was here. You can still see the Mayfair over here in this photo. Again, it just, you come up here and you look at the pictures, it's wonderful. Belmar is called Beautiful Sea, but there was a time where someone was pushing to name our town Malta. And that's the name of this ship that sank, that I guess it didn't really sink, but crashed during a big storm in 1885. I understand one person lost their life, but we don't want to bring that up. If you look at low tide, you would be able to see this part of the ship still in the water. This part, I guess, was salvaged and is no longer there.
Hey, Brian, before you move on, could you, there's a manhole, if you look at the left of the picture, with in front of the arcade, the thing that's in the street?
Yeah. You mean this?
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
that's where all the sewage would go in the summer, in the wintertime. It's still there, that big vault.
Oh, really?
Yeah, then it would be pumped out.
Wonderful that we got that in a photograph of
Yeah.
the boardwalk, right?
We didn't push it out into the ocean during the summer season, but that was the access to it, one of them.
Well, I remember lifeguarding on 10th Avenue, and when you looked out off the jetty at 8th Avenue, when you saw the water coming up and it was brownish, we didn't swim anymore. We didn't go in the water. You know, I don't know why. But fortunately, they've improved matters with sewage, and I guess it's pumped down to south. Yeah. So this is the Malta. Over here, this is DJ's. DJ's used to have 2 stories above it. What happened? Don't know. But this is where the beachcomber is, and you go in to DJ's right through here. And so we're going to put this across the street from DJ's. And again, great sign. We all know sit-offs. If you look at this photo, there's a young man here, his name is Howard Rowland. Howard Rowland used to go to sit-offs and have his coffee cake and coffee and all the time, and he still did it into the 80s. And you look around, some of the, just wonderful. Abbott's Ice Cream, I guess they sold Coca-Cola, not Pepsi. A popcorn machine. Now, Spence, you know something about, did you, that?
That was the first popcorn I ever actually got at that machine.
This one? Okay, well, should we write your name on it? Spence, you'll,
I remember there being one at the 16th Avenue. Do you remember that one? It was outside.
a popcorn machine?
Yeah, just like that, actually.
And now they're called ATMs.
Is the root beer barrel in there? There was a.
I'm going to have to look at it more closely.
Tires root beer barrel behind the counter there.
Yeah, I'd have to look at it more. It's a good photograph, so there's a lot to see.
When I was little, there were canvas flaps that rolled up. Remember? Like, it was like army tent.
Yes.
Canvas.
Yeah.
And on a rainy night like tonight, my dad loved to go down there those nights, and they would roll those down, and you would be inside the tented area where those chairs are.
Yeah, I can remember late in the 50s, my brother Terry worked on the 20th Avenue beach. I went down and I helped him set up. I was only like about 7. And then we go across the Sidoroffs. And Mrs. Sidoroff, I don't know her last name, but I don't think it was Sidoroff, was always nice to the lifeguards, you know. So, it was, you know, that's a great place, part of Belmar's history. The Neptune Hotel, 16th Avenue in Ocean. I guess it was torn down before I can remember it. Why they called it the Neptune Hotel? Maybe it's a connection with the sea, the Neptune, you know, maybe that's what they were going for. I don't know if this is Ocean Avenue. I would think it might be Ocean Avenue out here. Again, we're going to be obviously putting this at 16th Avenue across the street so people walk the boardwalk. McCann's Atlantic Hotel. Bad fire in 1970. But one of the strange things, it was owned by the family of Pat McCann, who was the basketball varsity coach at St. Rose for so many years. What was interesting about McCann's Hotel is it was a bar at night, and on Sunday mornings you went to Mass in church. what I understand is before it was McCann's, it had another name, we think maybe the Atlantic. And the people that stayed there were the Gershwin brothers, Ira and George. So we have some history. Look at the size of this. I mean, this really was a big hotel. And I'm really fortunate, we're really fortunate to be able to have these signs put up on the boardwalk. As I said, we had such a terrific, positive response last year that we said we had to increase, we have to do more. And now we're going to have 16 signs along Ocean Avenue. So where we go from there, I don't know. You may not want to put too many up there, but anybody have any questions? No? Just so you'll see in a, I know Billy Musto from the DPW is going to hate it when we tell them, oh, we got 7 new signs for 2025. Can you find some time in your work schedule to put them up? So we'll take it easy. When he can get to it, he'll get to it. But these signs are just like your street signs. They're in great condition. The ones we had up all last year are still in great condition. So I think you'll enjoy it. I know the people walking the boardwalk will enjoy them. And again, it's recognition. Hopefully, some people that are walking the boardwalk and haven't been in Belmar in 50 years, their families moved out, to say, hey, I have a box of old photos. Maybe the Historical Society, because that's what the QR code is. For you, those people that have a camera, you can focus in on that, and you can give you our web address for the Historical Society, and they can get in touch with us, and that's how they could, possibly say, hey, this might be a valuable piece of history. Would you like to look at it? We'll say yes, we'll say no. If we can use it, that's great. I did mention Pat O'Keefe, who is the head of the Historical Society. Spence is the president, but Pat O'Keefe runs it. And what a tremendous, tremendous job that Pat O'Keefe does. Unfortunately, she can't come out because it would be dark before this is over and she'd have to drive home. And Naomi Reiser, the ladies involved with the Historical Society, they put in so many hours to the Historical Society that you really should treat yourself to go over there someday and just get lost in looking at the photos. Go look up the historical, the Coast Advertiser articles. It's just wonderful. Okay, that's our presentation. Yeah, we're gonna give us a couple minutes to put these away so that Billy Musto doesn't hide them on us.
I would just like to thank the Historical Society for all the work that they've done in this instance and in the past, all of the various projects and things that they've done. Are those pictures on the web? If you go onto the website?
Karen can probably answer.
Yeah, I think they are. Christina, these pictures are on our website.
Last year's signs are up, but not this year's out.
We'll probably get these on. Last year's are on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thanks again, Brian.
Yeah, as I said, Christina over here runs our webpage. And so when you go open up that QR code and you find out all the information you need to know, you can thank Christina. Great job. Everybody in the Historical Society.
Thanks again. Okay, let's move on to petitions. Do we
Not
have
received
any?
any petitions.
Approval of the minutes?
Can I have a motion to approve the minutes of the April 29th meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Reports of council? Councilwoman Donovan?
The Belmar Environmental Commission, along with DPW and our private contractor, has been continuing our program of egg addling, and we're pleased to report that the number of geese who are both nesting and the number of eggs being laid has gone down dramatically from last year. On May 3rd, we hosted an event beyond traditional landscaping with Lake Como, and we are continuing to work with Lake Como to expand the Patchwork for Wildlife program into Belmar, which celebrates homeowners who use sustainable and native planting for their lawns and encourages others to do so. We had a cleanup at Silver Lake on May 10th. There was great turnout. We picked up a lot of garbage, and so the lake was looking its best by coincidence for the wedding later there that day. So my best wishes to those newlyweds, and my thanks to the volunteers who came out and for the leadership of DPW, particularly Charlie Vanderland. And finally, the BEC is working on a clean energy audit for the borough, which will document our good practices and set us up for further eligibility for grants. Belmar Women's Club, today is the last day to apply for those scholarships. Please get those in. We are hosting a tiki party at Bar A on this Thursday from 6 to 9. You can find more information on the website. Seafield Festival, also this weekend, starts on Friday. Please, everyone, come out. It's going to be great. We've got great bands again this year, too. We've got Pat Roddy, we've got the East Street Borough Bandits, and we have the Beer Tent, which I believe is 10th Avenue Burrito this year. The summer concert series starts May 23rd. You can pick up more information there. They're being outside. And finally, Verizon update for all of you. Earlier this year, the FCC put out a call for comments in an elegantly titled document called Delete, Delete, Delete. So the borough submitted comments that made the following points. We ask that more discretion be returned to local zoning and land use authorities, and that the Commission's current interpretation of the rules governing small cells, in our opinion, goes beyond the intent of Congress and should be revised. We said that these oversteps have negative effects on property values and that they place commercial interests above the interest of our communities. That also, essentially, this land, because it has not been updated, is given to companies below market value. We ask that they remove the rigid timelines around approval and restore discretion to local government. As we were talking about whether or not we were going to submit, we were debating whether or not this would have an impact. And I'd like to just say two things. One is that we were very pleased that our other local towns were supportive, and some, I believe, submitted comments themselves. And two, we continue to fight this fight, and the county lawsuit goes on, and we can't change the past, but we are all hopeful up here that perhaps there's always a chance that we can maybe change the future for future residents of Belmar, because these cases will continue to go on. So that is your update. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman McKinney.
Thank you. Recreation, they had a really good turnout for the baseball game this past Saturday. The Monmouth Furnace defeated the Hoboken 9 14-13, so a nice high-scoring game. Summer basketball signups and June 8th. Team sponsors are needed for summer basketball, so if anybody would like to sponsor a team, it's only $100 to sponsor a summer basketball team. Running club signups, tennis lesson registrations all end June 22nd. The summer concert series, as Councilwoman Donovan noted, starts Friday. The first band is Billy's Garage Band on May 23rd, and that's every Friday in the summer. Shade Tree Commission and the Environmental Commission, we did a joint meeting on Thursday night, and it was very well attended. Some of the takeaways from that were that we had a beautiful Belmar program, which was a success. We had 8 new trees planted in the borough. The Shade Tree Commission and the Environmental Commission jointly signed a grant for an application for 8th Ave landscaping, so hopefully we'll get some nice beautification along 8th Ave. And this year, the Shade Tree Commission had over 40 permit requests to remove hazardous trees and stumps. So we're continuing to work on getting down our hazardous tree and stump inventory. Around the schools, Belmar Elementary School, May 20th, they have their Belmar Community Resource Fair to promote and raise awareness for local activities and resources for the summer. May 21st is the Atlantic Farm Day, Atlantic Farm Day, and May 22nd is the Spring Concert and Art Show at the school. St. Rose Grammar School has confirmation tonight in the rain, our little confirmandies, and then their Carnival Day is May 20th. St. Rose High School, the last day of the first school for high school seniors is actually this Friday. My daughter's one of them. The Baccalaureate Mass is May 22nd, and the Senior Prom is May 27th. Graduation is Thursday, May 29th at Monmouth University. And St. Rose High School wanted me to tell everybody that the St. Rose High School senior class has collectively been awarded over $22 million in college scholarships to date, which is pretty impressive for a small school. And skate park news, we're going to be at the Seafood Festival. We're going to have, the skate park committee is going to have a tent. We'll be selling t-shirts, custom painted skate decks, and we're going to have a live custom painting being done Saturday from 11 to 4 by Jill DeBrush. She's like a does commissions, custom painter. She's amazing. So come out and check us out at the Seafood Festival. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you. Council President Linero.
Thank you, Mayor. The Belmar Housing Authority had their meeting last Monday. New security cameras have been installed on the sides of the building, and the graffiti has been removed. They submitted paperwork for a new weatherization program, and they submitted their action plan for the HUD grant for the facade. So things are moving along there. The Library Board of Commissioners held their meeting last night. Our numbers for our patrons attending programming continues to increase. We discussed some cleaning, repairs, and painting on the exterior of the building, equipment maintenance, and new fee guidelines for out-of-town patrons. It was brought to our attention that some patrons might be confused by registering for the events online and getting that QR code ticket. So I need help spreading the word that you can just call the library, and a staff member will happily register you for any event that you want to be a part of. So please spread the word on that, because I don't want anyone to be discouraged because the technology might look a little scary. The technology has been looking more and more scary. I had to do a little bit of technology myself today, and it didn't work so well, so I can understand the frustration. Upcoming events include our summer kickoff concert on the lawn with Pat Rowdy on June 5th. Beach Music Studios Kids Rock Band on June 14th, and then the Taylor Pavilion June 19th at 6 p.m. We have the Juneteenth celebration concert with the Luckyville Orchestra and spoken word artist James C. Ellerby. So please come. Although we had to cancel our outdoor event due to rain this Friday, the borough did still honor our first responders with a nice lunch for First Responders Month. It was meaningful to have the ability to say thank you to each of our volunteers and employees who joined us. In addition, thank you to the mayor for providing bagels for all of the employees last week for Public Service Week. We're hoping to schedule the Touch and Truck event at another time this year, but this May has just been back-to-back events, and all of those events include our first responders doing things. So we're going to give them a break to make sure that they can reschedule at a time that works for them. Continuing the theme of pride for our residents, I've reached out to our graduating high school senior parents to continue the banners for those who would like pictures of their graduates down Main Street. It's a completely optional program, but I'm happy to receive so many messages from parents hoping that we'll do it again this year for their graduates. So thank you, Mayor and Council and our administration for allowing that to happen for our community. I'd like to thank all the performers and hosts for Porch Fest. It was a wonderful Saturday of music. And additionally, I'm still overwhelmed by the momentous event of the David Sanchez piano dedication performance last weekend. We had a great response from those who attended. There's so many of us here in the borough and local who put their noggins together to make that happen. And it's just such a meaningful symbol for us in Piano Plaza, and it's definitely a performance I will never forget. The piano was dedicated to David's mother, Selma, and I thought of her on Monday when we celebrated Mother's Day. And I'm grateful for all the nurturers of music and arts in our community as well. It is not too late to order a brick for Piano Plaza. We did so in memory of my mother-in-law, so you can also honor your own family, or just put in something nice as a brick to celebrate Piano Plaza and what we have, which is very cool. Okay.
Thank you. Councilman Levis.
Thank you, Mayor. On the subject of Porch Fest, I also want to thank Johnny Comfort for basically running the show and organizing that. That was no small feat, so it looked like everyone was having a good time. The weather was great. The bands were great. Good day had by all. I want to recognize Belmar Boy Scout Troop 40's newest Eagle Scout, Joshua Goodwin. Congratulations for him for attaining the rank of Eagle Scout. Belmar Elementary School PTO is having a fundraiser this Saturday. It'll be a busy weekend with the Seafood Fest going on, but they're going to be raising the bar starting at Beach House at 1 p.m. And finally, update on the fuel dock. Weather hasn't really been cooperating so much, but we're anticipating to be open for business Friday if the weather gets a little better. That's what we're targeting for right now. Next Harbor Commission meeting will be Tuesday, the 20th at 6 p.m. here. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to make a quick comment about the piano in the plaza. It was a great event. It's, I think, a boon to Belmar to have only the second outdoor piano in the United States here. And I have to give full credit for this to our administrator, Kevin Kane. I know he doesn't want to be acknowledged, but if it weren't for him, none of this would have happened. You talk about, dealing with raising the money, the purchase of the piano. We were dealing with a vendor who was in Israel and a salesperson who was over here somewhere in Long Island, I believe. I don't know if we ever really found out where he was, but we had to do the purchase. Then we had to negotiate the contract, because it was originally it was one of those contracts where it was like, you give me the money and then we'll send you the piano. And it was like, no, I don't think we're going to do that. So we obviously with the help of our attorney, Tracy McManaman, we dealt with that. And then of course the piano was delivered and it wasn't operational. So then that piano had to go back. And prior to that, we had to do the plaza and build a platform for it. Again, all being coordinated by Business Administrator Kane. There were things like redoing the lights, moving lights, providing electricity, redoing bushes, plants, and other things in the, so there was a lot of work to do that. And then finally, the whole organizing, getting David here at a time when he was going to be here to be able to perform. So every step of the way, everything was coordinated. It was a lot of work, a lot of hard work, and it was really all my fault, because I think in the second week in office I mentioned it to Kevin, and I said, they have this great idea. Kevin Maypop has this great idea about this electric piano, and it would be great to have it in Belmar. And he kind of agreed, but I don't think he had any idea how much work was going to be to do this. So I thank him personally for all the work that he did, and that piano was there because of him. Thank you. Okay, are there any other reports, Council? Then we should move on to the budget hearing. Tonight's budget hearing, the public hearing is going to be only on the resolution adopting the amendment to the 2025 local municipal budget. If anyone has any comments that they would like to make about the amendment only, please step up to the microphone and state your name and address.
Okay, can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-83, a resolution adopting the amendment to the 2025 budget?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckafusco?
Yes.
Councilman Rondenaro?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
Can I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2025-84, a resolution authorizing the adoption of the 2025 budget as amended?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Councilman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckafusco?
Yes.
Councilman Rondenaro?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
Okay. Next is the public session on the resolutions on the consent agenda. If anyone would like to speak, please step forward, state your name and address. I have a motion to close the public session.
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Can I have a motion to approve the resolutions as listed on the consent agenda?
I'll
Motion.
make the motion.
Second.
Councilman Donovan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckafusco?
Yes.
Councilman Rondenaro?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
Ordinances, we have second reading and public hearing on ordinance 2025-9. This is an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 29, amending water sewer rates. This is open for public comment, if anyone would like to speak on it. I have a motion to close the public hearing.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And can I have a motion to adopt ordinance 2025-9?
Motion.
Second.
Councilman Donovan?
Aye. Yes.
Councilman Kinney?
Yes.
Mayor Buckafusco?
Yes.
Councilman Rondenaro?
Yes.
Councilman Levis?
Yes.
Okay, now we're on to the regular public session. If you'd like to speak, please step forward and remember to state your name and address. Can I have a motion to close the public
Motion.
session and adjourn the meeting?
I'll make a motion.
You did that too fast, sir.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.